Jackson, what really stood out to me, man, from watching your highlight video was just your ability to throw on the run so much back and forth, especially sometimes as a right-handed quarterback and being a former right-handed quarterback myself. It's a lot easier to roll to your right and throw, but to be able to roll to your left, get your shoulders turned, be downhill, deliver a good ball, that's what really kind of stood out to me, man. Now, my suggestions for your highlight video are the following. Okay, first thing is to have an information slide at the beginning. The best way to go about this is to go on Canva. All right, this is free, and you'll go to their slide, and you want to put the information of your name, school, graduation year, position, height and weight, X account, email, and phone number. Okay, put that information on the left, put a picture of you on the right, download that slide, and then upload that to the very first thing on your Huddle highlight video. And the reason being we want to do this is so all your information is at the very beginning for a coach to see. Okay, that way he knows how to get in contact with you, he knows how to follow you on X. All right, because sometimes coaches, and I've seen this happen, if with how short and valuable a college coach's time is. All right, if he can't find those things, he's going to pass on you. All right. I remember when I would have trouble trying to find kids, and it's like, okay, I can't keep doing this. I'm wasting time. I got to go on to the next kid. Okay, so just make sure we're taking care of that. That way, a coach can get in contact with you. Okay. Next is remove plays / non-highlights. Okay, and this is more anything that doesn't showcase your strength or transfer to the next level as much. All right, because we want to have we want to be able to take maybe those plays out, and maybe that helps kind of move the needle. Maybe say you're a 10 on a coach's board. All right, just for an example, say you're a 10 and taking those plays out, boom, it bumps you up to a 5, a 3, or a 2. Okay, or a 1. All right, so just sometimes we want to take those plays out and just kind of to help us in that stance. Like I said, these are not bad plays. All right, do not get me wrong, but they're just things that maybe that a coach, something I can kind of see of, hey, let's just take that out and maybe it'll help us elevate our game. Okay, so to give an example of one to show you right here, all right, is at the 148 mark here. All right, and the reason being, like I said, as a quarterback, I understand this one, and this is something we'll kind of get into in a second, but just to be able to show of not knowing, seeing this is thinking this is supposed to go to the second receiver, so we overthrew him, but it ends up at the back receiver. And maybe that's who you were aiming for, but sometimes it looks like, oh, you just missed the receiver. And as a former quarterback, that's something I've done too. Okay, so we just like, man, that's wish we would have had that, but in your mind you're thinking, man, I really should have hit the other guy. Okay, so just take that out because then it shows we're kind of overthrowing, so that way it doesn't kind of more hinder us in that stance. All right. Next, remove captions, okay, and this is more like just that we just saw on this play here where it said watch this. All right, at the very beginning here, right there, boom. Okay, remove those spot shadows on that because we don't want to have it, and this kind of goes along with removing the background sounds you've got on there also on some of them, so make sure you remove those because we don't want to use those and have those distract a college recruiter from evaluating your film. All right, we don't want him because what they do, and this is what I did, you're watching 60 to 100 kids in a day, you're sitting in a dark room, you got your lamp on, you're listening to music, just you get in the zone when you're recruiting. Okay, sometimes when you've got captions pop up, music, background music sounds, all that stuff comes on, it kind of distracts you from what you're doing. Okay, so that's why take that stuff off. We don't want to have anything that's going to hinder you in that stance. All right, and something else to make sure we remove is on your title down here. Okay, we want to put just sophomore highlights because we're going to go off the film off the most recent highlight, the most recent year. Okay, with just a 1 year, we don't combine two. All right, just go off the most recent year because watching this, I can tell when things flipped. You basically switched offenses. Okay, so I've seen you can tell when guys develop differently and coaches don't. They want to see the most recent year of what they're getting. Okay, so make sure we switch that up and then just change this to your sophomore highlights. All right, next, going to your sequence of plays. Okay, we want to do all this in sections. All right, from pass to run. Okay, so with that being said, in these sections, you want to go long TDs, short TDs, any movements. Okay, so you're rolling out, sometimes a scramble, stuff like that. All right, and then explosives, that's anything 15 to 20 plus yards down the field. Okay, and then the remaining offensive highlights followed up with that. All right, and your main offensive highlights is not necessarily an explosion play, but still a good play that's going to showcase what you can do. Okay, maybe showing a 10-yard dig route, all right, or something like a comeback route or something. Okay, so in that stance. Now, within each of these sections, you want to put about 3 to 5, maybe 6 plays max. Okay, and within that, you want to have your film kind of where you're in that right range to where you want to be 3 to 4 to no more than 5 minutes. All right. So you want to put your best plays because you got to be able to start each section, capture that coach's attention. Like I said, he's watching 60 to 100 kids in a day. If after a minute he doesn't see something, he's going to go on to the next kid. Coaches, as a quarterback, they like seeing 6. So that's why we want to put our touchdowns at the beginning. All right. So in these timestamps that I've got here, these are the ones I believe you should start out each section with. All right. So going to the 29-second mark here. Okay. Just to show, all right, like I said, we are just a little bit behind that 25-yard mark, so we can kind of put this in our long touchdowns. Okay, great job. Shoulders, boom, get the hips square, boom, deliver a good ball down the field. I mean, sometimes the hardest throw is one that's wide open. Okay, it's a great job there. Going to the short TDs now. Let's go to the 2:03 mark. All right, and on this play here, okay, just to be able to show, boom, we're rolling out, bam, throwing on the run, good ball right over the linebacker. Okay, it's a great job there. Next, go into our movements. Okay, and like I said, these are kind of your scrambles. Scrambling here, all right, and then also at the same time so runs. Okay, so right here, boom, we're rolling out. The reason I like this one because the one before this you got hit. This one you kind of got pressure, but it's where you put the ball, boom, right at the helmet. Okay, it's a great ball right there. Great job. He didn't have to break stride, nothing like that. So it's a great job there. Okay, go into your explosives to the 2:52 mark, and like I said, this is kind of why we want to put things a little bit quicker because then we can see it a little bit. All right, we'll back it up here just a hair. Okay, Boom, right here, 251. Okay, boom, getting out. All right, the explosive. I know we're kind of rolling out, so this is when I kind of lead off from your movements and then put this very first one, so it's kind of in between. Great ball there. All right, leading the guy behind, getting away from the defense right here. Okay, boom, then coming back up, kind of the same deal. Great job here. Great ball on this out route. It's a deep out route too to throw. That's a very good ball thrown on the run over there. Okay, and the next going on to your main offensive highlights. Okay, this is at the 44-second mark here. All right, and this is just like I said, kind of not necessarily an explosion play that we just saw, those 15 plus 20-yard plays. Okay, but a good 10-yard comeback. Okay, 12-yard comeback. All right, still showing we can throw things on time. 1, 2, 3 hitch, ball's gone. Okay, you're still showing things that we can do. Now, like I said, add that information slide, remove those plays, remove the captions, sounds, make sure we're doing it just our most previous year. Don't do both. All right, and then changing up that sequence of plays. Overall, this will provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target. I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now. Okay, this is based on a few criteria. First thing is your graduation year. All right, you've still got a couple years to go. Okay, so we're going to use this to our advantage because we can keep building on these improvements we're going to talk about. Then, as a quarterback coach, they're going to look at size, mobility, accuracy, and arm strength as well. Okay, now understand that this current evaluation is not a projected evaluation. That's not what we're basing on. We're basing off the film we're watching right now. With that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are D3 to lower to mid NAI. All right, now you're probably not getting the interest from these schools right now because of the graduation year. Okay, but what we can do is we can start getting ahead of the ball and getting in contact with these coaches through email and calling. Now, they may not be able to necessarily answer the calls, okay, but we can start getting our film to them. We need to start getting your name out there through social media, following these coaches on X, DMing these coaches your updated highlight video, okay, and that way we can kind of get things rolling there. All right, now, when you also need to make sure you're marketing and branding yourself in the correct way through social media, okay, doing that stuff right. But here's the deal: when we go attend these prospect camps at these levels, okay, that's going to help. You can introduce yourself to these coaches because sometimes when you go to these mega camps where there's 1,000 kids, as a college recruiter, it's very hard to watch kids, okay, because you got a 40-page sheet they give you with 1,000 names on it, trying to figure out which kid you really want to watch. You really don't have that one-on-one to short group or small group that you can really focus on a kid, okay. So make sure we're putting our money towards the right camps in that stance. Now, when you've gone to these camps where you got a smaller group and you can talk to these coaches easier, when you send them that midseason highlight, they're going to have that relationship with you a little bit. Okay, they're going to know who they're watching. But here's the deal: how can we also go attack these levels? Okay, how can we go attack these levels and get better? My suggestion to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. Okay, first thing you got to work on as a quarterback is accuracy, catch and throw drills. That's going to simulate throwing those bubbles, those fast screens, and that quick game. Okay, working on our drop drills. That all starts from the ground up. You know that as a quarterback. If the feet are right, everything else has got a big chance. Those mechanic drills. Aim small, miss small. Every time you're doing mechanics, aim small, miss small. All right. In college football, the windows are going to get smaller as the defenders get faster. Okay. And then keep working on the film study. We're going to leave the receivers open at all three levels. All right. Then it's going to become by knowing where those windows will be based on them playing cover 3, cover 2, cover 4, mix, whatever that is. We got to be able to know where those windows are. Okay. Working on arm strength. That's going to come from our core and our length strength that we're going to develop because it's going to create more throwing velocity. Got to be able to have more zip on that ball in college to account for those faster players. I remember the first time I threw the ball and I thought I had the time and it didn't happen. Okay, because they're a lot faster on that end. All right, that's going to start from the ground up with squats. Okay, exercises. That's going to deal with that explosion. That's going to come with that power in the arm strength. Footwork drills, shuffle and weave between and over bags, figure 8 with cones, gap pressure stimulation. Okay, have a good base while doing these, and then have a football in hand. All right, this is going to help your mobility and pocket awareness. All right, which is going to translate to college football because in college football today they want quarterbacks that are mobile. All right, so this is going to help extend in those deals. Okay, next working on ball security. Having that thing high and tight. You can practice when you're doing your footwork drills or sprints. Okay, if you can't protect the football, your chance of playing is going to go down. So we got to work on that ball security. Okay, and then lastly, the flexibility side. Okay, pre and post training stretching. This is going to help with the arm strength as well. Okay, and just taking care of that arm. That's going to be that individual work. As a quarterback, as a former quarterback, you have to take care of your arm. That's your college football way. Okay, you're going to throw so many footballs all the time. Camps coming up, workouts going on, so you got to take care of that arm because this is going to help prevent injury. Okay. Because your best ability is your availability. If we get dinged up, nicked up, and everything else as we go on these next couple of years, that's going to hurt our chances at video, which is going to hurt our chances at offers. Okay, but at the same time, you go to the college level and we're dinged up and nicked up because we weren't taking care of our body when we were younger. All right, it's going to hurt yourself on the depth chart. So make sure you're taking care of your body now. Okay, but these improvements are what really a quarterback college coach will look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard, and if it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation and possibly have an opportunity at that upper NAI level. All right, but Jackson, at the end of the day, man, everything will come down to your individual work, your outreach. Okay, as well as your marketing on social media and your relationship building with college coaches. I cannot stress enough of how important these relationships are with these college coaches, okay? Which is why the next step is your athlete interview, where you're going to get an interview with the coach and get coached on your communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical, okay, for the conversations you're about to start having with college coaches. So make sure you watch the video beforehand and be ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.